live.
Yes, we are.
And what is Susanna?
Mm-hmm.
What are you wearing?
Oh, fun that you mentioned that.
Right. Nice. Did that just come today?
It arrived today on Muhammad's
Yes.
birthday.
Wait, is that in our Teespring? On Muhammad's birthday. Yes, today is Muhammad's birthday. Do we have the?
It's on Teespring, it's on Spreadshirt, but I got this on Amazon.
Okay, but you sure it's on Teespring? So the link in the description has it.
I believe so.
All right, nice. Okay, good. Guys, get our t-shirts link in the description. That one's Guys, do not get this one if it's not safe, okay?
Oh, true.
Yeah,
That's
don't get
important.
this. Let me actually make sure we have it on Teespring. Just 1 second. Wow, we have so many good shirts in our Teespring store. Guys, if you're a member or if you're a Patreon, then you have a discount code. Um, oh yeah, it is. It is. It is in our Teespring. Guys, link to this T-shirt is in the description. Go check it out. Okay. But yeah, but guys, do not buy any of the T-shirts that could put you at risk. Okay, do not like if you like I don't know if you're like in some areas of London, don't go around with this shirt on. And in France right now, if you are watching from France, do not buy this shirt. Do not wear this shirt in France. Okay, we're not responsible for evaluating how much risk there is where you are.
Mm-hmm.
That's your job, okay? That's your job. Don't take unnecessary risk.
No, that's
Take,
not something we encourage. We actually
yeah.
discourage that.
Well, yeah. That's what we do. Taking
Yeah,
unnecessary.
yeah,
we'll
yeah.
we'll take the risk so you don't have to. You could just support us by giving us likes and subscribes and stuff. So you just stay safe. We'll do the risk taking. You could outsource the risk taking to us. Okay.
And we'll have a ball while doing it.
Yeah, exactly. AGA and Soha are saying audio is good. Oh, Ghost Bunny is saying audio is fantastic. Guys, if you're asking any questions, just like Soha is saying, make sure you tag Atheist Republic. See, so that we actually can notice that you're asking us a question. Hello from France. Hey man, hi from France. How's things in France right now?
We stand with France all the way. We're behind you guys
Yes.
without reservation.
Well, not all of France, but French values.
Yes.
Yes. Soha is saying audio is great on Twitch. By the way, guys, we're on Twitch. Soha is on Twitch right now. Oh, Idris is also saying hello from France. Yeah. Oh, by the way, let me see.
Bonjour.
Yeah. Oh, let me
My
actually
French sucks.
post the link to this live stream to our members in the community tab in case anybody wants to join me and Susanna.
Well, isn't it only our higher tier members that get to join?
Yes, yes, yes. So if you are a tier, wait, what tier? If you are a Hell's refugee or Hell's CEO as a member, you should be able to join me and Susanna live on air. Join Armin and Suze live on air. Oh, we got a super chat. You want to read that
Mm-hmm.
one?
Yeah, so um David the Goliath is saying, did you see the news of a Hindu girl in India killed in broad daylight for declining the invite to marry a Muslim and convert to Islam? RIP Nikita Tamar. Yes, I did see that news. We won't be covering it on our news show this week because the story wasn't posted to our page early enough in time for when I write the news and set what we're writing about, but we'll be talking about it not this Saturday, but next Saturday.
Right. So, guys, if you are tier, if you're a member,
Oh,
uh,
but David, thank you for the super chat.
yeah, if you remember either, ooh, no, not this one. Hold on, I made a mistake. One, oh shit. 1 second. Let me actually go.
Ishraq Ibrahim is saying, did you know that China has joined so far? The Muslim world is silent. Joined what?
Join
Ishraq,
what? Yeah.
yeah, what are you talking about?
Okay. Yeah. Check the community tab if you're either tier Hell's Refugee or Hell's CEO. If you're a patron, I've already messaged you with the link. If you are anything above Satan's minion tier, yeah.
Oh,
Um,
here's some comments that we missed earlier or questions. Knight Sidonia is saying, "Hey Armin, fellow Iranian here. What the heck do we do about Iran? Nothing seems to work. All the folks in Iran have started to take to authoritarian Trumpian ideologies now."
what do we do about Iran? For what goal? For toppling a regime, or for changing people's opinions, or needs to be a little bit more specific. Have started to take authoritarian Trumpian ideologies. Yeah, it seems like even the anti-regime people want some form of authoritarian, like monarchy, to replace the mullahs, which is sad. I mean, what can we do other than educate, educate, educate? I mean, I could tell you what I have done.
Mm-hmm.
I started the Atheist Republic Persian show called Jumhuriya Bi Khodayan. Night Sidonia, you better be subscribed if you speak Persian. If you're Iranian, make sure you subscribe to Jumhuriya Bi Khodayan. That's what I did. I'm trying to help educate people and spread enlightenment values in other languages, not just English. By the way, um, if you speak Arabic, I could use your help with the Atheist Republic's Arabic channel. Wow, Luke just upgraded his membership to Hell's Refugee.
Thank you, Luke. We love you.
Thank you, Luke. Um, yeah, we thank you so much.
Oops.
Yeah, so guys, oh yeah, you know what you could do? You could help us out by um, leaving us a voicemail. Night Sidonia in Persian or in English. If you go to atheistrepublic.com, we're collecting voicemails, and Night Sidonia, now you can leave your voicemail in Persian as well, and we're gonna post your English voicemails will go to Atheist Republic's English channel. Your Persian voicemails will go to Atheist Republic's Jumhuriya Bi Khodayan channel, and your Arabic voicemails will go to Atheist Republic's Arabic channel. So you could help us spread um, enlightenment values by just leaving a voicemail, guys. And if you have any messages that you want us to publish on Atheist Republic's YouTube channel or podcast, link in the description. Go to atheistrepublic.com, click the green button, leave a voicemail, and we'll broadcast your ideas. Okay, even if we disagree with them, as long as they don't violate any of YouTube's any YouTube community guidelines or anything like that. Wow, we got
Um,
an yeah. Go on.
Oh my gosh, wait, I need to catch up. Okay. Knight Sidonia gave us $5. Thank you. And said, yeah, talking more about toppling the regime, they survive anything thrown at them. Well, in terms of what you were saying about Trumpian authoritarians, some of the people I am friends with in Iran right now are begging me to vote for Trump because they have kind of an accelerationist view. I mean, some people want a full blown land war. That's not what I'm on, but Armin, you go ahead.
I think there's three opportunities for toppling the regime. Um, and again, people have been trying to do this for the past 40 years and it hasn't worked. But I think the main three opportunities are when Khamenei dies,
Mm-hmm.
two, when eventually that's one opportunity. Second is when the oil prices eventually crash because of alternative source of energy. That's going to be a major opportunity for both Saudi Arabia and Iran's governments to topple. The third one is when internet becomes accessible through for free. It becomes like through satellite, like somebody like Elon Musk. I think Starlink is a project that they're working on. Is that the name? Yeah. If that
That
internet
sounds
becomes
familiar.
yeah, so I think that's if that becomes publicly available. I don't know how far that weighs. Is it like a few years or decades? I don't know. But when that becomes public with no filter and everybody has unfiltered access to internet without anybody in government being able to shut it down during the times of protest, I think those are the three chances that Iranian people have in toppling the government. If they have any chance, those are I think the three main opportunities that is going to be gifted to them. All right.
Ishraq was giving us more context, saying one, Chinese Earth's portrait of Prophet Muhammad, two, Chinese state-run channel shows the portrait of Prophet Muhammad in, again, state-run CCTV. shows the portrait. So I haven't heard about this. If this happened like today, I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah, I
Because
support
I
this.
yeah
I think more of this China and less of putting people, arresting people, and less concentration camps. Like if
yeah
China, if
easy
China wants to,
position to take.
yeah, if China wants to switch over in fighting Islam, but actually spreading, blaspheming, and and fighting for freedom of expression. China fighting for freedom of expression. Imagine that. No, but if this is like the new way for China to actually fight against Islam rather than actually discriminating and oppressing Muslims, we were like, yeah, China, like maybe more of this, maybe do a little bit more of that. But yeah, I
But
support.
Ishrak's original point was about the Muslim world being silent. So again, I need to look into this to see how
Ah,
recent this is. But I certainly can tell you who will not be speaking out against it. It will not be Imran Khan, and it will not be the Islamic Republic of Pakistan.
right, right. It would be Turkey though, to be too fair to them. Yeah.
But thanks for bringing that up, Ishrak. I'm going to look into that because that would be interesting to
I mean,
talk about on the
Pakistan.
news.
Imran Khan might send like a letter being like, "Hey, please," like like they do sometimes send China like a
Yeah,
letter, a polite letter. I don't, I like what they did with France, which were yeah. We're
very
gonna cover
politely
it.
worded.
We're gonna be covering France and the world reacting to it in a bunch of live
A
streams. So
lot for the next
yeah,
several weeks.
yeah.
Um.
We
Uh.
got a soup sticker. Did you see that?
Oh yeah, we got a super sticker from Lee. Wait, let me check. It's a little
Arrow.
arrow that says here.
Okay. Thank you so much for the
Cool.
$2 super sticker, Lee.
Thank
I
you, Lee.
appreciate that. Yeah.
Holy crap, we just got another one from
Wow.
David. Whoa.
Oof. That's a big
Thank you
one.
for the
Thank you.
$10, David. My
That's what
goodness.
she said.
Uh,
All right, go on. No.
why do you think so many terror attacks come from uh, Pakistani, Chechenians, and Algerians living in the West, but not Iranians? Is it because the Iranian/Persian identity supersedes Islamic identity?
Well, because that, and also because the Iranians and Persians who leave Iran, they leave Iran because they're sick and tired of Islam. A lot of, right? So,
Mhm.
and also because of the authoritarian, the theocracy that a lot of Iranians have lived on. So this whole Iranians Persian identity superseding Islamic identity was a thing before the revolution, the 1979 Islamic Revolution in Iran. But I think that wasn't that big of a deal. But now it's just like most Iranians are sick and tired of Islam. So it's not like Islam is a
Data supports
popular.
that.
Yeah, data supports that. It's not like Islam is a popular thing among Iranians anymore. In fact, a lot of them hate it with a passion that you don't even see out of as in non-Islam. Even like the anti-Islam activists in like France or United States, they are not as passionate against Islam as many Iranians inside Iran are. Okay,
Hmm.
I mean, being forced to live under Islamic theocracy that does that to you sometimes, right?
Sometimes.
Um, yeah, and and again, a lot of people like maybe a lot of people that who are leaving countries like Algeria or Chechen or Pakistan, they're coming to Europe for economic, they're doing reasons, right? They're trying to upgrade their lives. But there are many people who leave Iran and they're actually downgrading their lifestyle. Like they're leaving a more comfortable lifestyle and they're coming and they're people. These are people who never cooked or cleaned anything in their lives, and now they're coming to Europe and they're working in kitchens and like mopping floors, and they think it's worth it because they're like free now, right? So
Hmm.
some of these Iranians are like it's mostly because they're leaving because they don't want Islam, right? They don't want to live under Sharia law, so that's why it's less expected of them. Again, I'm not talking overall. Like, obviously, there's exceptions, right? There's many exceptions, right? I mean, Iran sends its own Hezbollah people to actually do carry out terrorist attacks. So it's not like Iran doesn't export some crappy people to do some really dangerous stuff. Just recently in Canada, somebody was in Iranian dissident was killed, and the
Mhm.
Islam we're not sure. So it's not like it doesn't happen, but overall it's just like different views, different ideas. By the way, some of the anti-Islamic strategies that some Iranians have, we don't endorse at all because some of them are,
Oh my
again,
god.
yeah, some of them are extremely barbaric, and it's not. A lot of Iranians have gone from being anti-Islam to being anti-Muslim, so we should call that out when we see it.
And we stand for Enlightenment values when it's difficult, not only
R-
when it's easy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Wait, we got
Whoa.
another big super chat from Knight Sidonia and $10. Thank you. Saying, y'all underestimate our simping. The question is, for whom are you
Right. That's
simping, Knight Sidonia?
yes. And we have
Oh my
Luke.
gosh, Luke!
Hello.
Yeah.
Nice
Hi,
to meet
Luke.
you.
Hello. My connection actually works now, which it didn't last time, so that's always
Yes, a
That's great.
fantastic, an ex-Catholic here.
Oh, don't
Wait,
start it.
1 second before we get into this. I want to say thank you to AGA for 20 Australian dollars. Holy
Jesus.
crap. AGA, you didn't have to do that, but we
Yeah,
appreciate you.
that's a lot.
It's a little Shiba Inu wearing a samurai outfit waving an Ichiban flag. Number 1.
Guys, you could do smaller super chats as well, okay? Like we'll still be grateful, okay? So don't like go all too crazy. Yeah, but thank you.
Or
That's 20. Jeez.
yeah,
Okay,
or you don't have to support us with money. You can just give us a like or share it.
but thank you so much. Wow, that's a huge super chat. Thank you so much. Luke, how are you?
Good, really good. A lot better than I was last time I called in, to be fair. You guys have been really helpful. I want to say thank you for
Aw.
that stream with Dr.
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 Ray.
Ray.
Darrell.
That
Yeah,
was
on second.
brilliant, honestly, just fantastic. It was so helpful, honestly.
Yeah, that's
Aw. Yeah, we
Yeah.
need to do more episodes and videos about like healing from sexual shame.
yeah. You
Yeah.
should get his book. We're gonna
Yeah,
bring him on
I've
Atheist. Yeah,
I've ordered it. That's what I
Oh,
say.
you did?
Yeah, how it goes.
yeah.
Um,
So yeah, we had like for people who don't know in the live stream, we had Dr. Darrell Roy to talk about sex and God, sex and religion on our Secular Jihadist podcast. Check out the Secular Jihadist podcast; it's on YouTube as well. The public version of that episode is coming soon, by the way. And yeah, we're gonna bring Dr. Darrell Ray here on Atheist Republic as well. So
I know you should
yeah,
because it gets overlooked, but that kind of internal repression
Yes.
is such a huge thing for me. Anyway,
Let's talk about it.
yeah,
yeah.
just ridiculous. I do have questions, and I wrote them down because I'm scared of looking stupid in front of Armin. So I just got a big one that I was thinking about the other day, like because like this whole channel, which is about like spreading enlightenment values, which I think is fantastic, and like you are the like I know you brag about it, you're the only ones that consistently do it. And it's kind of terrifying. But like this is we're obviously working on a ground level. You guys are working on the ground level, like changing individual minds and such. But like we know that like, public opinion shifts and moves very easily, and people forget and will compromise based on what's ideal. So how much do you think like government intervention, like what Macron's doing now in France, is needed or worth it? And what do you see in the future? And what would you kind of want ideally in terms of kind of individual minds change / government policies of like teaching in schools and such? I mean, just a general question.
All right. By the way, the super chats, we're not gonna miss them. Okay, so
Yeah.
we're gonna get to the super chats very soon.
I'm
So
keeping
you're
it up.
asking what Macron is doing, like for us to judge what Macron is doing right now, or what are we gonna recommend for him to do going forward? Which
I
one?
kind of been like because we're changing minds individually, like kind of like almost like
You mean
street
top down versus bottom up?
yeah, because we're this is this kind of street epistemology kind of thing ish,
Right.
like, as opposed to instituting teaching at schools and such things and things like that, and enshrining it in values. And I wonder how much you think what's going to help more and what you want to help more in the future.
I think this is why I was so encouraged by Macron's initial speech before all of this went down, right? I think fighting against segregation and also making sure that France's Enlightenment values does somehow reach the children, right? And also integrating France's Muslims with the rest of society by just making sure that are not just making sure they don't have their own areas that is separate from everyone else, their own schools, their own stores, their own shops, their own areas that they go to. I mean, if you just manage to integrate, like, just interact with other people, right? It's really harder for them to hate other people and see them as enemies if they see them as co-workers, classmates, people that they have to do project with, people that they have to say good morning to, people that they have to say see you tomorrow to. That goes. I think that goes a long way. And also, kids growing up, Muslim kids growing up next to other kids, having to do art projects with. I mean, I think that's major, right? So this whole idea of these Muslim communities being able to raise their children in bubbles that are not exposed to anything, none of the cartoons, none of the, not just seeing a teacher that is not Muslim and growing up with them and not being able to hate, like, how could I hate French people? I love my teacher. How could I hate this person, right? I think that is so. When I saw Macron going against segregation and trying to come up with ways to tackle that, I was like, yes, that seems to be. I mean, you could just compare the Muslims in France on average to the Muslims in Canada. It's like it's so different. It's so different. Muslims in United States, even after Trump, they want to be Americans. Even after Trump, they want to be like, yeah, I'm American. I'm an American. Like, they're proud to be. They want to be American, right? And and Muslims in Canada as even more, right? So what is different? The difference is when you go to university in Vancouver, or when you go to high school, the Muslim kids are sitting right next to you. They're watching the same lectures. We're talking about the same TV shows. Okay, so yeah, maybe they go to the mosque and I won't, but then they come back and we're hanging with each other, and they see other people, but they want to be part of society. They want to know what the rest of the people are talking about. They want to go watch the shows that we want to watching and talk about that. They're talking, so I think, and again, because it's not just for the Muslims who are exposed to other non-Islamic views and non-Islamic people. It's also for the sake of non-Muslims to be exposed to Muslims, because it's easy to demonize Muslims.
Oh yeah.
If they are on the other side of the city, and you're like, yeah.
Well, I'm in the UK, so I've had the thing where majority of my interactions with Muslims are walking through neighborhoods that are completely separated and cornered off. And now I'm at university, I'm getting a lot more interaction. It's lovely, but before it was just it was very much the other, and I understand why we over here we've had the EDL and other groups kind of skyrocket popularity.
Yeah, so I'm a big proponent of the bottom up approach, which is why I'm a big fan of organizations such as Ideas Beyond Borders and the work they're doing in Iraq to spread ideas amongst the people. Because, what Faisal Saeed al-Martar talks about is one of the failures of U.S. interventions in the Middle East so far is that and what Armin talks about as well, is what our success was against communism was that we successfully identified that this is an ideological war, right? We won the battle of ideas. We had better ideas, and capitalism was very obviously a more attractive idea just on the prosperity that people were experiencing. I think it's a similar situation where we have failed to properly promote, market, however you want to put it, the value of Enlightenment values, which is why teaching the population why these are better, why these bring more people into prosperity, will teach them the value of having governments that help defend those values, constitutions that enshrine those values and those rights and those protections, right? But we need populations to understand why these are superior to begin with. Yeah. And so efforts to educate general populations, I think, are extremely valuable.
But again, that's the difference between the work we do and the difference government's supposed to do. Okay, so when it comes to educating people about certain ideas, that's an activist kind of, I think from a government perspective, just fighting against segregation. And again, I just want to say this one more time. This is also in the best interest of the Muslims, okay? It's going to be more difficult for people to demonize entire groups of people if they if they have to, if they engage with them on a daily basis, right? So this is not, oh, you have to, trying to make them submit to Enlightenment values. This is like, hey, if people see you, if people interact with you, even if they disagree with you, it's going to be harder for them to hate you. Okay, so this is
Yeah.
for their sake as well. I do want to,
Yeah.
before we lose these super chats, I do want to address them before we go back to
Sid
Sid.
Dave, thank you for the $5. Sid is saying, do you think Muslims will cause World War III? Hindus, Christians, and Jews versus Muslims? Short answer, no.
No, what? World
I
War
don't
Three?
no.
No.
Um,
Christians,
so
Hindus, Jews versus no. What
no.
the? No. Yeah.
I'm more worried about China. So and a lot of other countries as well. So this is a question for me. And Luke, if you have more questions after we handle these super chats, let us know. He's saying, thank you for the 10 pounds. First of all, Susanna, when you were in
Thank you.
Antifa, were you under pressure to self-deprecate yourself for being white or not respond to slights and remarks against white people that would not be accepted against other races? I don't know if pressure is the right way to put it. But I certainly tolerated it, and beyond tolerated it, I accepted it as okay, just dues. My mentality was that if other groups have put up with this throughout their lifetime, then I can put up with it. And I mean, certainly when I hear that type of stuff, like to this day, it's not the end of the world. The offense junkie part of me has been killed doing this work. But I now properly identify it as just as racist, just as wrong, and it should be as intolerable as against any group or any insult or slur on the basis of someone's immutable characteristics. But I also don't take it that seriously because I got better things to worry about.
Before we go back to Luke, let's do this one as well. Idris is saying France used to be one of the best countries in Europe when it came to Muslim integration, but this has obviously changed. To be fair to France, we keep comparing France to UK to France and UK. We're comparing it to United States and Canada, but the problem it's a little bit unfair because one major advantage that United States and Canada have is that they have an ocean between them and Islamic countries, and
Okay.
it's easier for them to get higher grade Muslims because at least the Muslims that go there have to be able to afford a plane ticket, right? And that by itself does some of the screening for you. But also because the higher volume of people that are able to come to Canada and United States, the screening process becomes a lot cheaper and easier. So as much as we keep wanting to say like, oh, UK, France, you did it wrong, it is a bit unfair to them if you compare. Like they don't have like people coming from the underbelly of Europe, all of it's like that mass wave of migration coming. It's really a difficult thing to handle, and this is why foreign policy is also an important part of this, right? Like trying to not let make it, come up with ways to stabilize Islamic countries. This is why a lot of people say, "Oh, just stay out of these countries." It's a bit, I mean, it comes from a good place, but sometimes it's a bit too simplistic because countries like France and UK do have a major motivation in trying to make it less appealing to people for them to leave Syria and Iraq, right? So it is in their best interest to somehow figure out how to way not to let these countries collapse. Not being responsible for it. Whoa, we have somebody coming. We got it before I bring. Wow, my God, we're getting so many things
I know
happening.
there's so much.
Right. Okay. So Idris just became. What did Idris do? Upgraded his membership.
Upgraded.
Wow. Okay, Idris, thank you so much for upgrading your membership. And we got a. And somebody back layer is coming. Okay, so we got a super chat. We got 21 Canadian dollars super chat. Have you seen the Handmaid's Tale? Wonder if if a second Trump term could lead America into this direction. What do you think? I don't think so. I mean, I have seen it. That's a very, very extreme thing that I don't think will ever happen in the United States. But I'm glad that it has made more people worried about the theocracy. Even though I don't think it will ever become like that. But thank you so much for the $21 Canadian super chat. Luke, before I bring back, how many questions do you have, Luke? Do you want to ask before I bring in?
So my other one was like, because I'm at university right now, and I'm kind of feeling the woke on me. And I'm doing philosophy and theatre, so you can imagine how that kind of creeps in.
Right.
And I was wondering, how do you? Because I'm just trying to be reasonable and be logical and just like I recently wrote a play it was about death or whatever, but it was like there was a bit where I attacked ideas of religion and such, and I got told by my tutors that I was being too insensitive and trying to push my own values onto my audience, and I was like, how do you deal with that, and what's the role of the?
That's what art does.
Wait, isn't that supposed to be the purpose of art?
Like, and for me, I'm annoyed because not enough art does push that, and it's like.
Well, can you tell them like, oh, great, thank you for the compliment. Say like, oh, I'm pushing my values through my art. Is it working? Like, thank you.
I don't know. It was just the weirdest thing for me.
Maybe like tell them the history of art and how art has been used throughout history. Used to push values.
It's just because when I first joined this channel, I was like, I understand your attack of like Islamic Christianity and all the religions. That made sense to me, and that's like, why are you the woke thing? I mean, yes, I admit it's a problem. Like, how is it related? And now I see, because it all ties back into everything else, which I think is
I would say like just pay attention to when you notice someone trying to construct walls around your expression, right? And in terms of like other examples of questioning people, I think learning a little bit of street epistemology would be super helpful. So a way of when someone presents you with a claim, or maybe presents you in a claim in reaction to something you've said or an idea you're talking about, just ask them, draw out more questions in a conversation, a dialectical way. How do they know that?
Yeah.
What is their method for establishing that as true? And if someone says like critical race theory, you're like,
no, it has happened. I
would prefer like data empiricism
usually
to help push. You're muted, Armin.
Yeah, actually, I don't think you should say like you don't even have to say I prefer data. You could be like, if you want to continue with the street epistemology, you could say, how do you know that's the best way of coming to a conclusion, right? Like maybe true. Like keep don't be like, if they give you an answer, don't be like, oh, I don't like that way of coming to a conclusion, I prefer data. No, maybe ask us a follow-up question like, oh, and you think that gives us a better understanding of go on.
Was that what we were doing recently, like just like research and into like a play that was about it was about the Israel-Palestine conflict, and it was like there was a genuine section of the class where like anyone who was white wasn't allowed to speak about it for like just a solid 20 minutes. I was like,
wow.
I was like, because I'd heard about this and I thought it was overblown. I thought, I'll go to university, there'll be some mentions of it, there'll be some lefties, but I'll be fine. But it's kind of blown my mind slightly in terms of how bad it is.
And from the instructors themselves, yeah.
By the way, before I go highlight the super chat, I just want to mention that the logical fallacies that you have on your wall, I love that.
Wait, how can you tell what that is?
Because he knows the poster. Wrong way, that one.
Yes. Oh wait, now I see it.
All right,
Luke is our type of guy. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, Backslayer, be patient. We're gonna bring you on soon, okay? But
I've got one more question before I pop off, because it is stupidly late. But I saw this and thought, gotta do it.
We love having you on, Luke. You're awesome.
Oh, thank you. like what would your, because I feel very, and I hate using the term privilege, but I genuinely feel very lucky to be where I am, have been where I am in Britain, in this brilliant country that I have, that has one of the like my values, and we let other people in, and I'm really happy about where I am and how I live. And I like, honestly, since researching this, and you guys and seeing the community, like so many people out there, just I think I feel so sorry for you, and I all the love in the world sending out to you. But what's your advice to people like me who potentially do have more of a voice in terms of, because I'm quite young and I'm getting into it, like how to help activism wise, other than just supporting you guys and like retweeting and selling to if you can? Do you have like, again, this might be a question that you can't answer anymore, whatever, but just ways to help in this push for enlightenment value, shall we say?
I talk about why it's important, and I give examples to the people in my personal life about people who don't have those things, who are being persecuted, and they cannot deny how ridiculous and ludicrous it is, the situations that other people in other parts of the world go through. So I talked to them about Raif Badawi. I talked to them about Mubarak Bala. I talked to them about how literally today I watched a video of a man in Bangladesh being burned and beaten alive for alleged blasphemy. Right? And I talk about why it's important to not only promote but defend these values. And I just talk about the values. But I personalizing it to specific instances and cases and people who are being actively persecuted. It triggers those emotional parts of the brain that actually integrate memories and feelings and emotional attachment more. Emotional salience. So that's one thing that I do. And also I just don't shut up. You say that I can't talk about this because of the background I come from isn't this background, or because of any immutable characteristic I have. No, and I'm going to explain to you exactly why that is not why I should not talk about this. It's actually why I should talk about this.
And Luke, you consider yourself an artist, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, you could use your art to become a voice for the people that don't have a voice. And also, if somebody said like, "Oh, you're in a position of privilege, or you're white, so you shouldn't talk about it," you should be like, "Actually, my privilege is exactly why I need to be, is exactly why I need to speak for people that don't get the chance to speak themselves because they're being silenced and they don't get to say these things. So I'm trying to use my platform to amplify their voice. That's exactly why I get to speak. Why I need to be their voice." So
I filmed a 20-minute video today that I'm going to post to my Instagram later about why I'm not going to shut up.
Right.
Good.
And if people say like, "Oh, like you two are white, right? You two, and you should let other people who speak, like, just." I mean, at that point, I'm tempted not to use a street epistemology and just tell them to shut the fuck up, right? I don't know.
Well, I mean, you did tell me to say that.
You're just a fucking racist.
Well, that's the thing.
Up.
That's not an argument. It's not an argument.
Exactly. Well, like recently with the whole beheading in France, like a lot of talk happened, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, we can't be Islamophobic." And then I tried to break down why I thought that was stupid, and I thought, no, we can't just let this happen. Like, what Christ's doing is good. And
no, you guys have heads on your shoulders. Do not speak on behalf of people that don't have heads.
Yeah, but I try to break it down, and then when, because I clearly I've read the Quran, I've looked at some of the hadiths, and I know this stuff. And then as soon as like you get to the point where you defeat them, they go, "Oh, well, you're white, so you can't talk about it." It's like,
you know what I do? I talk about this. I'm like, well, I would like you to go look on a map, because if we're talking about levels of progressive woke ideology and how to hit them where it hurts, I'm an expert at getting those soft spots, okay, those zingers. I'm like, okay, let's look at a map. Let's pull up a map right now about what countries in the world execute people for being gay.
Right.
Just show them a picture of that map, because we're all about the gay. They should be all about the gay. What do every single one of those countries have in common? It is one specific ideology.
It's their culture, Susanna. Who are you to tell them that that's the wrong way to live?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, but so finding little examples like that where there's a conflict, and where it will hit that cognitive dissonance. So you need to pinpoint that cognitive dissonance, and on that particular example, I find extremely helpful.
It's very street epistemology. Just you got to slightly alter it from
right.
God to woke. Which, I hate the right wingers who are always like, "Oh, woke's the new religion, but because it isn't. But in some ways, you're like,
Yeah.
It's dogmatic.
It's dogmatic.
We fight dogma on this channel.
Yes.
So.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
But yeah, the right wing have to worry about the dogma on their side as
And
well.
so-
So yeah. Anyway, okay. So thank you, Luke. Come
thanks so
back.
much. It's been
It's
brilliant.
good to. Yeah. Thank you so much.
No.
All right. All
No,
right.
It's really nice to meet you. Talk to you later.
Nice to see you, real. See you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Love everyone out there. You're amazing, all of you. Bye.
Aw. I hope I get to see you in. All right. Bye.
Wait, okay, but we
All
have
right.
one super chat really quick.
Yeah, and also AGA just upgraded her membership, so we need
Oh
to
my
read that. as
god.
well.
Thank
Yeah.
you, AGA.
Yeah, thank you.
AGA became a Hell's Refugee. I don't know. I lost it in the YouTube chat. But
Yeah, I'm gonna find
Tyron text really quickly, $10. Thank you. Before coming to the US, I thought most white people were racist. It was a white person who helped me get a job and sponsor my work visa. I realized how wrong it was. Feel bad for ever believing that. Well, what's important, Tyron, is that you changed your mind. And you acknowledge that you changed your mind. And you are willing to change your mind. There's a lot of people who are not willing to do that. We all believe a lot of stupid things. And when we realize we're stupid, hopefully most of us have the humility and have, I don't know, like the big enough of character to go ahead and change our mind. And being willing to even admit that after the fact is awesome. So,
Yeah.
good for you, Tyron.
By the way, AGA AGA did became a Hell's refugee. So thank you so much. And again, Tyron, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Back, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Am I saying it right? Backed Slayer?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
But
Okay, good. Hey, thank you. Yes,
Thanks for
what's
waiting.
your question? Yeah, thank you for waiting. Sorry for
Yeah.
keeping you for so long.
no, it's okay. So I was watching today your rant on that Majid Nawaz story. So I just was curious, if you've seen, I'm sure you know Majid for a long time, and I have been also following him. If you look at his past, he has been always been very pro blasphemy and very anti-extremism. He's been very close with Sam Harris, who is also very pro blasphemy, and he has himself proactively participated in drawing cartoons. Don't you think? I mean, I was kind of shocked. I couldn't understand from the title of your video. I was like, did it really happen? So don't you think maybe there is something wrong? That he is trying to say something. That's why he's not insisting on this strategy, and he's bringing all these nuances of Libya and Turkey and France fighting there. Maybe he's trying to tell something else. I mean, have you ever seen him react like this on a cartoon? Like how many times we have seen cartoons being drawn across Europe and USA? I don't see ever. I remember that he reacting like this. But maybe this time he is trying to say something else, but he's not clearly saying that. He's trying to link these things about Libya and France and Turkey fighting there. Don't you think he's trying to say something, but he's not clear about it?
Well, we can only criticize him by the things that he's apparently saying, rather than the things that he's trying to say, but he's unable to say. Right? We cannot do a Quran reformation on him and be like, this verse means something else, maybe something profound than what he's actually saying. Right? So
I love that that's the point of reference.
Throughout, I mean, if I'm just saying, I'm sure you know him more than I have followed him more than I do, because you even talked to him. Has he ever reacted like this to the cartoons you have done, or what has been done in France and Charlie Hebdo? Has he done it? Has he ever said that? We need to step back. Oh, we don't need to do this. It's not good strategically. Have you? Do you recall any time he has done that?
No, I mean, I have seen him get so butthurt over people just simply disagreeing with him and crying about it. So I have seen him do that. But no, when it comes to standing for free speech, this is a new law for Majid Nawaz. When it comes to saying, oh, we need to park our principles and not fight for free speech, and this is more of a strategic thing. Like, I've never seen him say anything like that. But again, he doesn't present any good arguments for why we should do that. So, and again, if he's figured out something profound that the rest of us mere mortals are not able to see, and only he is able to see it, he has to figure out a better way to communicate that with us, or else we're just gonna not agree with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
He's spoken before about the matter of strategy, about when it is appropriate to make use of this form of expression, right? So he's previously had a rant on his LBC show that I really like, discussing his principled stance on blasphemy, which the majority of that rant I really like. In it, he talks about the moral imperative to support free speech absolutism. In that same rant, he also says something along the lines of, I'm paraphrasing, now the discussion about if Charlie Hebdo should republish the cartoons is a different matter. So even in that rant, which I generally support, he didn't get into it then. But in that little sentence, I could tell that that is a little bit of that difference in strategy that he's talking about. So that rant was back before, about a week before the terror trial started. So there has been a little bit in his past about hinting at his differences or disagreements about strategy and when it's appropriate. Personally, I believe it is appropriate when these values are under attack. Well, really, I mean, who cares? You should have the freedom to do it anytime. But I find it to be a personal imperative to do it when it is under attack, right?
Right. That's actually the most important time to do it. I do want to say Kemal just became a member. Thank you so much, Kemal, for being a member. I do also want to say super chat. But also, Edris, I see that you're waiting to come on, so we're going to bring you on soon. Please, we're not ignoring you. David is saying there are 56 Islamic countries, and not even one allows non-Muslim men to marry Muslim women. Is this not enforcing Islamic supremacy, just like how apartheid and Jim Crow white supremacy laws were enforced? Well, is
Well, I
it
need
really?
to check that statistic.
Yeah,
I don't know about those numbers.
I don't know if that statistics is true, but even if it's not true, that's not the only way Islamic countries enforce Islamic supremacy. So I agree with the second part, even if the first part is not true.
Citation needed.
Every single I could say this, every single Islamic country does enforce Islamic supremacy, and yes, that is very similar to an apartheid state. And Jim, yeah, it's definitely similar to that, and it should be called out as such. And thank you, David, for calling it out as that. Like it is. I mean, I do say that Christian supremacy is also a thing in Christian countries, which is true. Hindu supremacy is definitely something in India.
Let's talk about it.
So we have Jewish supremacy, and we have Jewish supremacy in Israel. All of that is a real thing, and this is all of them should be called out. However, it's also fair to say that Islamic supremacy is a lot. The way Islamic supremacy is enforced is a much bigger problem than the way Jewish supremacy and Christian supremacy and Hindu supremacy is enforced in other places, right? So we have religious supremacy as a whole as a cancer on the planet, but the most dangerous one is Islamic supremacy, and and it's enforced much more heavily than the other forms of religious supremacy. So just because I admit that other forms of it exist, that doesn't mean they're all the same. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So are you okay? Backslayer, can we bring the next person? Is that okay?
Do you have any?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
You.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks
Love
for
you guys.
joining us. Thanks
Bye.
for being
Bye.
a member.
Sure.
All right. Idris
Hello.
from France.
Yes.
Hey.
Do you hear me?
Mhm.
Yes, we do
Am
hear
I
you.
am I loud enough?
Yes,
Because
you
it's the
are.
middle of the night, so I don't want to talk too loud. That's why.
It's okay. You're good.
Well, it's fine then. I had most of my questions are about history, but coming back to the previous super chat, when he said Islamic countries, well, do you think he meant Muslim majority country, or because I'm wondering, Turkey, even though it's no longer really secular, was secular in the past. So does Turkey allow Muslim man to marry a Muslim woman? Because
Again, that's a statistics that I don't know if it's true or not, and I don't think it's actually true. I think like in Tunisia,
it seems weird.
yeah. So I don't think it's true. But again, that statistic doesn't have to be true. Like in
For every
Indonesia,
country.
yeah. But even if it's not true, I could say that
Yes.
Islamic supremacy is a thing in every Muslim country without that statistic. Even
Yeah,
without that
yes, of course.
statistic, yeah. Okay. And also, I don't know when we say what people mean about Islamic countries. It really different people mean different things, right? So, for example, Iran is not a Muslim majority country anymore, based on recent data. Apparently, Iran is is Muslim minority country because half.
Please.
Yeah, alhamdulillah, yes, but it's still an Islamic country is because it's ruled by under an Islamic is and under an Islamic theocracy, right? So even though it's a Muslim minority country, I still can't believe I'm saying that in my lifetime.
Say it one more
Even
time.
even though Iran is an Muslim minority country, it's ruled by Islamic theocracy now. So it's an Islamic country, right? So it really depends on what the definition of Islamic country is.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. So what's your question?
So I had a second
Yeah.
question.
Mm-hmm.
And would you want to come back to or think about coming back to Iran if it became secular and you didn't have to fear for your life, or do you feel more at home in Canada?
No, I would definitely want to go to Iran if it was safe. Not to live there. Definitely, I think many other countries are better. I would like to go there to make documentaries, interview mullahs, go to mosques, meet a whole bunch of activists, secular activists. But no, I like moving a lot. I like traveling a lot. I like go from one place to another place. But I don't think Iran would ever be safe for me, even if it was a secular government running it, because there's still, millions of people there. There are millions of people there that are, even if the vast majority of the people there are against an Islamic theocracy.
Vigilantes and.
There's plenty of people that would like to see my guts spilled all over the street. Enough to be a major safety issue for me to go there. So even if it was ruled under a secular government, and even if the vast majority of the people over there want secularism, I mean, I would say even having a couple 100,000 people who want me dead would be a major risk factor. But I could tell you that there would be millions, right? Millions that would be a minority of the country, but still millions. So yeah, I would rather not go.
Yeah, with your level of blasphemy, desecration, spreading corruption in the land.
Yeah. So probably not.
And I had more of a general question. That is, do you think society in society and societal norms and ideas mainly evolve due to reflection of or people that are reflecting and trying to improve on it, or do you think it also is very dependent on the technology of the society? For example, I think a democracy on such a scale as a whole country is only possible with the printing press. But at the same time, it requires a certain reflection from the people. But still, I don't think it could have come.
So I think we're mixing two different things with each other. I think the opposite of reflection is not the technology. I think the opposite of
course.
Yeah, because I think the opposite of reflection is just people just following the trends. Okay, so we have two different things going on. People actually thinking, reconsidering the positions, coming up with their world philosophy, reflecting of their views, trying to see if their views reflect reality. That's a minority group of people, and then we have the majority group of people who just follow trends. They're mostly influenced by the people they're hanging out with. They see if they like something. They use their world, their beliefs and the ideas like fashion as a way to signal that they belong to a tribe. Most people are followers. Most people are not constantly reflecting over their views, and that's what we have to deal with. Okay, so the thing is.
Yeah.
And we have to figure out how to reach to those people. We can't just intellectually tell people what's right and wrong because most people do not even reflect. Okay, so those are the two groups of people, and again, and the majority of the people are just followers. But when it comes to technology, when it comes to the printing press or the internet, that hypes up both of these factors, right? So when you are exposed because of the printing press or because of the internet to more ideas, you are encouraging both of these. More people are now going to be exposed to so many ideas. It's going to make them reflect, like, oh my God, now I see a contradictory view. Let me reconsider this position. So you're going to increase that, but you're also going to increase the people who are following to try out more. To try different views, as you know, as if it's a fashion statement or as if they're just trying it on. They're exposed to more worldviews, right? So even though they're not reflecting on things, they have more to choose from based on their taste, based on what feels good, based on who the community that they resonates with them and they want to follow. So the technology amplifies both of those movements. Okay, but I guess as activists, because of the technology, we get to be in front of both of these communities. We have to come up with different techniques for different strategies for both of these types of people, right? When it comes to people who reflect on their views, we try to tell them why some ideas are crap and some ideas are good. That's why I write like the book Why There Is No God. But again, this book is not really going to help with the majority of the people who are not really caring about whether their views reflect reality. Okay, with those other people, this is why I say the best way to fight Islam is not my book. The best way to fight Islam is not my book. The best way to fight
To
Islam
befriend Muslims.
befriend Muslims, again, because for those people it's mostly about I'm going to become more radical, more Islamic because these non-Muslims are being mean to me, or like, oh look, atheists are actually nice to me. Maybe not all atheists are bad. So again, befriending people, interacting with them, making them feel welcome. That's the best way to challenge people's worldviews because again, most people are followers.
Wait, I have a special announcement.
What?
Our prophet is here. He's here, ladies and gentlemen. we have to pause and answer the call of our prophet. Armin, what are the color of your socks? This is
I'm not
important.
wearing any socks.
Oh snap!
Yeah, but I'm gonna get French colored socks, maybe. How
Hello,
about that? Yes, I like the flag.
Ridvan. No pressure, but Armin, can you send him the link?
Oh yes, yeah. No pressure, Ridwan, but just in case. Just in case.
The
Do you know the meaning of the French
Ask
flag?
or Ask Me Anything last month with Apostate Prophet was wild. I loved it.
All right, so we do have. Okay, so I sent the link to Ridwan in case he wants to grace us with his presence here. We do have a super chat, and we also have Rishi wanting to join. Idris, was that your last question?
Well, yes.
Okay. Good questions, though. You gave me an opportunity to go on a rant there when it comes to technology and different groups of people, so I appreciate that. we're gonna read the super chat, and then we're gonna bring Rishi on. Okay. Thank you, Idris.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Nilukar Rahman gave us $10. Thank you. Saying, why are most Western countries silent regarding France? Don't you think this is cowardice behavior of Western leaders will encourage Islamic fanatics? Yes.
Countries are silent regarding France. Don't you think the kind of behavior of? Yeah, I do think that it is cowardly, but at the same time, I do also think that Macron is normalizing calling out Islam. So I'm hopeful for the future. I think if France image survives this, this is why I think France shouldn't go and violate Muslims like rights and oppress them and discriminate against them, because if after all of this Macron comes looking good and not bigoted and be like, wow, you call that Islam and you didn't go too extreme, and you're coming up with some plans that non-bigots could actually be like, yes, this is good, then France is, if and the world, most of the world says like, yes, France, thank you, France, then other world leaders are going to be like, this is not as politically suicidal as it used to be. We could actually call out Islam. Like, oh, people are clapping. People are saying like, yeah, you're calling out Islam, and people are like okay with it. So maybe we should tap into that a little bit, right? So,
In
so
terms
I'm
of why Western
Right.
countries are silent, I think it's because they see it as political suicide, political correctness, outrage, not wanting to call a thing, because it will make people uncomfortable. Accusations of Islamophobia and racism, which are completely nonsensical. I think more people need to be willing to acknowledge what's really going on, correctly label Islam as a far right ideology. And for people like me who are white, who do not come from a Muslim background, who are told that we should not speak on it because we do not come from these backgrounds or because of the color of my skin, that's ludicrous. And more people like that need to be willing to take the bullet of being called names to correctly identify the most deadly ideology that is alive today. Okay, so if the worst that happens to me, because I live in a free society and I'm protected by my constitution and I'm protected by my law enforcement, is that people call me names and that people don't like me and they make assumptions about my positions because I take a firm stance on this issue, then that's not a bad, that is the least I can do. Okay, and we need Western leaders to be so willing as well.
Right. But again, this is why I want France to go full on anti-Islam and full on anti-segregation, full on anti-radicalism, investigate these mosques, come up with ways to desegregate society. But I also want to make sure that they don't go out and betray due process, betray freedom of expression, because if they do that,
Enact
and this
collective punishment.
Yes, and this backfires on Macron and France and makes them look like, oh my, the world comes out and says like, oh, France is going bigoted. Then it's going to discourage other countries to do what Macron is doing because it backfired and made France not look so good. Somebody asked if my book is on Amazon. Yes, it is on Amazon. Uday, it's, by the way, Rashid, we're getting so many super chats today, so let's just read those really fast before we go to Rashid. Uday is saying there was an Islamic knife attack in China years back, and response was brutal. No attacks since then. Are there more humane ways to prevent terror attacks? Yes, there's many more humane ways. Yeah, I mean, if you are responding to violence with more violence,
Or
your normal,
concentration camps.
your country. I mean, you're saying there has been, the response was brutal. No attacks since then. Yeah, but you have state violence, which was a lot more than those knife attacks,
The
right?
most
So, I mean,
sophisticated surveillance state we have ever seen.
surveillance states, I mean, it could be used for good. So, I mean,
But in this situation,
yeah, I mean, I'm okay with France increasing surveillance, because I'm hoping that, because France wouldn't use that with an authoritarian, I do think more surveillance is needed for the sake of Muslims themselves as well, right? I mean, if you want due process, if you want people who are not guilty not to be accused of anything that they didn't do, you want everything, at least in public, to be recorded, right? Police cameras and all that. So, but again, if you replace an evil with something, if you manage to eliminate an evil and replace it with something that is astronomically more evil, have you actually fought evil? No, you haven't, right? And again, I'm proud of everybody in the ex-Muslim community. Apostate Prophet, he calls out China for their oppression. David Wood even did that. Even and obviously Abdullah Samir and Harris Sultan. I'm really proud of our community for actually calling China out for its human rights violation. This is the last super chat before we go to Rashid. Sorry, Rashid, I know we're making you wait. Terrell saying, cool to see you on FB, Susanna. Also, to paraphrase Dallas Winston, a reference to the outsiders, don't you know a super chat ain't a super chat without me?
Oh my
Right.
God, girls, you're like our sugar daddy. Thank you for the 50 Danish crowns.
Well, yeah, thank you so much for that. Anyways, Rashi, you hear us, right, Rashi?
Yeah, hey, I mean, hey, Susanna, can you guys hear me?
Hi.
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you for being here. What's your question?
So, Mike, I was thinking, so it's just my opinion, and I would like to take your take on it. So, with these incidents in France, do you think that left that was siding with Muslims and Islam, they would also try to distance themselves from this ideology and these people in future? And what I'm seeing in India now is these incidents are giving the right wing a take that to show people that what we are dealing with and why you are criticizing us when we respond to uh, these uh, these people. Obviously, they are against like Muslims, not Islam as an ideology, but it gives them an upper hand with these incidents that what we are dealing with.
This is why I think Muslims don't recognize that somebody like Macron going really heavily against Islam right now, it's actually in the best interest of the Muslims, right?
Yes.
Because if Macron doesn't go and heavily attack Islamic
It'll be the far
radicalism,
right.
because you know what's going to happen? The French people are going to be like, okay, we need the far right. We need to, more French people are going to vote for far right if Macron doesn't act right now aggressively right now against Islamic radicalism and segregation. If it doesn't do that, then these a lot of these idiots don't understand. Like, oh, Macron is doing this, blah blah blah. You fucking moron! He's saving your asses. He's saving your asses because if he loses any power to these far right groups, they're gonna come down and actually oppress you. Then you're gonna feel what real oppression looks like. Okay?
Persecution.
He needs to. Yeah, you're gonna be prosecuted. He needs to show French people that he's taking this seriously, so he doesn't give the far right groups
the space to take the monopoly on that narrative.
Yeah. Imagine if Macron comes out and be like, "Oh, this is not a big deal," or just Islam. This is not Islam. Islam is peaceful. This is what Islam doesn't teach this. French people are gonna be like, "Okay, fuck this."
These aren't true Muslims. They aren't true Muslims.
Marie Le Pen it is, I guess. Macron, fuck you, right? And then how would Muslims like that? How would they like that if she was more in power? Like, so again. This is why you come down heavily on. Does that answer your question, by the way, Rishi?
Yes. So like I was thinking on the same lines that it's like left distancing themselves from Islam is in the best interest of Muslims itself, but they are not seeing it. They are feeling as if like left and right are now working together against them. But before, like it was at least left who was helping Muslims in their individual countries. But now with this, like France has already started it. Now maybe it may start in other countries where left is also criticizing Islam, and Muslims will feel more that they are being isolated and being oppressed by the world. It would be like world against Muslims.
Right. This is why I really like the language that Macron is using right now. He's like, he's calling it Islamic radicalism. He's saying that we need to make sure that these ideas are fought against.
And that it is in the best interest of French Muslims who are citizens of the Republic.
He's not otherizing the Muslims. He's not saying, it's not like France versus Muslims. He's saying these are our fucking citizens of France, right? He's treating them like we need to include them as part of French society. He's like, I'm a president of these of French Muslims, right? So he's fighting the ideology, but he's not otherizing, he's not demonizing the Muslims. He's saying we need to be able to represent them, and we need to make it so that these people think like they're part of French society. Okay, so I really like the way he's phrasing this. I'm not sure going forward what policies is going to lead to. I'm going to keep an eye on that. But the language being used here by Macron is perfect. He's going after the ideology, but he's not, trying to be like making it seem like there's two types of French citizens. Is real French people versus Muslims. Like he's constantly saying these are our citizens and we need to be able to represent them and we need to try to find a way to include them in French values and French and the rest of the society. So love the way he's talking about it, and I think more Muslims need to appreciate that.
Yeah,
And this is
yeah.
an exact reason why the importance, I mean, like to bring it back to anti-Islam activists who are also proponents of liberal values. Because we are not going to allow the far right to have a monopoly on that ideology, or on that narrative of being anti-Islam and correctly identifying the problems of Islam, right? When I first got into this, I thought that it was only people on the far right, who would take these stances, who would point out these problems, have these hard-hitting criticisms. No. There are people here who fight tooth and nail for the promotion and defense of Enlightenment values, okay? And this is for the betterment of all of France's citizens.
Right.
Correct. And another thing that I've seen in India especially, all the incidents, no matter whether they are like communal or not, the people on the either end, both left and right, they're trying to find out those angles. Like if by chance if the incident happened and it involved upper caste or lower caste or a Muslim or a Hindu, those kind of divisions, they are on purpose trying to take those incidents in the direction to create a particular narrative against the other group.
To create a what?
To create a narrative, like let's say there was a recent incident where a guy shot his girlfriend because she didn't want to marry him, and the guy happened to be Muslim and wanted her to convert to Islam. Now the right wing is like that's what Muslims do, not the Islam, but Muslims do, and they're on purpose pushing in that direction that it's Muslim and Hindu narrative. It might be just a normal, like a boy and a girl incident where boy went crazy.
Well,
and he wanted her to.
I don't call that normal, but
no. So maybe the guy wanted her to convert to Islam not because he really wanted her to be convert to Islam. Maybe because
he just wanted to marry
so that his family gives the approval so that he can marry the girl.
Yes, I understand. People want to use this incident to generalize about an entire group of people, and we need to call it out. And we're gonna do that when we cover the story on Atheist Republic. I don't know if it's gonna be this week, but yeah, I do think like a lot of people. This is like just candy to a lot of Hindutva people. Like what? Like I think that a lot of them watch this news, and they just I think it's very safe to say that many Hindus watched the news of a Muslim shooting a Hindu girl, and they were like, yes. They were happy
because it validates
they were like,
their worldview. It validates their black and white thinking. It validates their binary us versus them mentality, and it fuels their persecutory delusions.
Right, and they're gonna use this. They're gonna use this as a way to like go after Muslims in India, and so this is again we are gonna cover this and we are gonna call it out, and again we're not saying Islam doesn't have an influence. Islam definitely has an influence.
We
Islam
talk about forced conversions of the thousands of girls kidnapped and forcibly converted, children in Pakistan and Sindh province alone, constantly. We call it out.
Yeah, so here's the thing. It's harder for us to make a judgment on whether or not Islam was a major factor in each individual case unless it's really obvious, right? But it doesn't have to be the major factor in an individual case for us to know that it is a major factor in many cases, right?
Exactly.
So we could claim ignorance when we don't have all the facts, and I think that's the most intellectually honest thing to do. But most people are not going to be happy with that because most people want you to take a position on things that you're not able to take a position on, right? Whether or not Islam was a major influence in this factor in this incident or not doesn't mean that Islam doesn't have an influence in people committing crimes. It does has a major influence, okay? But if we say in this case we don't know if this was just somebody wanting to was in love with somebody and they were using Islam as an excuse, or whether this person was actually it was because of Islam itself. If we just say we don't know exactly because we don't have all the facts, for a lot of people that's not going to be satisfying because they want you to be aggressively for or against something. But again, we have to be intellectually honest and we just have to admit that we don't know. But again, people are going to use stories like this for their both sides. Both sides are going to use stories like this as a way to spread their narrative. I mean, a lot of Muslims are going to use the story as well. They're like, oh, look at these Hindu people saying that this is Islam. This has nothing to do with Islam, and that's why everybody who has a problem with Islam, they're all wrong because look at how wrong these Hindus are, and Islam is just like everything is great about Islam, right?
Yeah, or the only source they show me is OP India, and they spread fake news and they're Islamophobic. I mean, no, OP India is legitimately fake news, and they legitimately are anti-Muslim bigots. Like, this is why you have to present them with credible sources.
Yeah, so as you see again, just like Hindus are going to use this story to spread fake news about Muslims, Muslims are going to do the same thing. Muslims are going to say, look, this person shot an innocent person and killed her. This is not allowed, in Islam, okay? Because like India is not under Sharia law, so you can't just go kill Hindus, right? They're going to tell me, show me a single Quranic verse or hadith that allows this. Oh, you can't. And then they're going to say this proves that there's nothing wrong with Islam because look this is what anti-Muslim bigots do. They spread fake news about Islam, and this to them they're going to use the narrative to say this proves that there's nothing wrong with Islam. Again, everybody's going to use their stories to spread their own.
I don't like this narrative when like any religious guy is coming up and saying that this is not written in our scriptures. I don't care what's written in your scriptures. If this scripture is not working out, it's like the result, we are not getting the result, get rid of it. I don't care what's written in it. It might be the most beautiful piece of literature ever written, but if it's not working out in the society, I don't care.
I care what's in the scripture because it's actually dangerous ideas and it is having an impact on people's behavior.
Just like anything that seems to be good or beautiful about it is not worth those crap ideas.
If I'm not getting the results, I don't care how beautiful and how peaceful things are.
It's not. But I wasn't suggesting that. It is not peaceful. It is violent.
No. I understand that. I understand that. I'm talking about any scripture in this world, like any religious scripture. If it's not giving the result in the society, I don't care what's written, how peaceful or violent, what's written in it. If I'm not getting the result, I don't care. It's not for this society.
Okay, Rashi, we need to bring the next person, but thank you for your great question.
Thanks for taking me in. Armin, Susanna, bye. Okay.
Thank you, Rishi.
Thank you, guys. And guys, nobody else joins. We have Hayes. Hayes is next, but before we bring Hayes, we need to address a super chat and also a super sticker. So let's do the super chat and then the super sticker, and then we'll bring on Hayes. Okay?
Okay. So Tyron Tex gave us another super chat. Thank you, Tyron. $10. We appreciate it. I think there can be a violent reaction to Islamic terror, especially in Europe and in India, where people are fed up. There is potential of right-wing government-sponsored violence on Muslims as a punishment. Yeah, so this is something I'm afraid of. This is why we strongly condemned the stabbing of 2 women outside of the Eiffel Tower 2 or 3 days after the beheading of Samuel Paty. Okay, we do not support collective punishment. We do not support collective guilt. We will identify, label it as such, and call it out every single time. Okay, because these values are not only exclusively for our tribe. So
this is why you come to Atheist Republic, because we're going to take the right position on every one of these scenarios. We're going to be on the right side of defending everyone's rights, everyone's enlightenment values at all places for everyone, regarding of the tribe or the side that they belong to. Okay, this is why you come to Atheist Republic, and this is why we're kind of lonely, guys. So thank you for being here, because everybody comes. Like some people jump on our bandwagon because, like, oh my God, these people are anti-Islam, and then they leave when we actually call that anti-Muslim bigotry. And some people are like, oh my God, these people are are calling out anti-Muslim. Oh, these people are defending Hindus against Muslim attacks. Oh, this is the right channel for me. Or like, and then we do it the other, and then they like leave, and then we do it the other way. Sometimes we get Muslims like, oh my God, these people are going after Hindutva. We love these guys. They're calling out Hindutva bigotry and all of that, and then they realize that we're actually more aggressively against Islam, and they leave. This is why we're kind of lonely here. So we really appreciate. We don't, but we appreciate the you guys here because you haven't abandoned us, even though we're not being tribal. Okay, but
so
yeah.
Also, I'm also concerned about this. When these attacks happen in France, our first, second, third, fourth concern is not exactly that. It is for the victims of these attacks. Let us be clear.
Right.
Okay. However,
Islam is the bigger threat. Islam is the bigger threat.
Period.
Yes.
We cannot act like the likelihood of violent reaction is improbable or unlikely, evidenced by the fact that 2 women were stabbed only 2 or 3 days after the beheading of Samuel Paty. And today there were, I believe, 3 terrorist attacks in France today in Nice, Lyon, and Avignon. From what I understand, the attack in Avignon was from a far right extremist. Now, more details are emerging.
As far as we know.
As far as we know. More details are emerging. We will cover that correctly once there are better articles in English. Thank you very much. So I need those translations to come through quicker.
Yeah, guys, if we call that... Yeah, go on.
The probability of right-wing backlash and violence is real. And we are going to continue to condemn it because we need to be consistent, and we will continue to be consistent. So Al-Uza Akbar sent us a $3 super sticker, and it's a pair going thumbs up. So thank you, Al-Uza.
Thank you so much. And we got a super chat as well.
Oh my gosh, Trials. World of Warcraft analogy. On Islam, Macron is the night elf warden. However, if he fails France to get Sylvanas Windrunner, Blown Samdi, she'd be tipping the scales too far. This went above my head on so many different levels. Levels. I don't know what you're talking about, but like for someone that really hit and that was hilarious. So to that person, like they got it.
You don't. It's not enough for you to be a World of Warcraft gamer to understand. No, you have to also know the lore like in detail to be able to get this. But thank you so much, Taro, for being such a geek. We love. No, I used to play World of Warcraft, but I forgot the lore, so I don't get the references. But wait, we are. I love the geeks in our live chat, so that's good. Don't go anywhere, Taro. But again, thank you so much for the super chat. Hades, hi.
Thank you for waiting.
No problem. How are you, Armin and Susanna?
Good. I see you in the Discord a lot. You like to play classical music sometimes in the music channel.
Yeah, I do. And by the way, like Hades, I guess you know Hades is a Greek god of the underworld.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I just thought I should use this name instead of my real one. Anyhow, I have one point to make, a counterpoint to what Rishi said, if I may.
Yeah, on what subject?
About the daylight murder of the young girl.
Nikita Tamar, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing I want to say is that I don't know how much of the religion angle was involved, but I would like you guys to know, in case you do not already, that in India the marriage laws are a bit messed up. Like Hindus have their own marriage laws, and Muslims have their own marriage laws. And depending on, like if it is a formal marriage under those laws, so that determines how the divorce settlement and other things will be handled. But there's also a like religion neutral marriage law. So it's a bit messed up. I don't know why it's like that and when they will be fixed.
What's it called? Like the marriage, the Hindu Marriage Act, which is under review in High Delhi Court. They'll see if it considers same-sex marriage soon, or if it covers it. And then there's the Special Marriage Act.
Yes, which Special is Marriage Act.
Interfaith marriages.
But it can be used for any marriage. It is independent of faith.
Does the Special Marriage Act also involve casteism, to a certain intercaste marriage to a certain degree?
like the Special Marriage Act is written agnostic to any faith, caste, everything. It can be used by anyone, any two people to marry. I guess they can't be of the same sex because of the current legal structure, but it does not depend on religion or caste or anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. Obviously, we are for a single secular marriage system.
How much do you think all of these things had an influence in what happened? Do you think this was just like again? I mean, isn't it the best thing to do right now? Is to just claim that we don't know? Like,
Yeah, we do
yeah,
not know.
we do not know. Okay, seems like a lot of people are coming up with a lot of theories based on. I mean, it's okay to
Just
guess.
because they know the faith backgrounds of the two individuals involved, I'm seeing a lot of jumping of conclusions.
I mean, it's okay to guess.
Yeah, you
As
just have
long
to
as you tell
remain
people
skeptical.
that that this is just a hypothesis, as a guess. I'm not married to this position. This is there's a very likely that I'm wrong, and I'm open to changing my opinion as soon as I get some information. But based on the limited information because I don't want to tell people like, oh, if you don't have information, then you shouldn't be like speculating at all. No, speculation is a very healthy exercise. Okay, especially it helps you, see how good you are in connecting dots with each other, right? But just you have to be clear first before to others, to yourself, that this is a mere speculation, that you don't have enough information, and this is a position that you're going to hold very loosely because you are very ignorant about the details behind what happened, right? As long as you're honest with yourself with that, you're going to be honest with other people as well, and tell people like, this is my speculation. I'm not saying this is what happened. This is my initial speculation, okay? But what I've seen most people is like they come up with these guesses and they act like this is like revelation from God and this is definitely what happened, okay? I think we need to promote more skepticism, and when people say like, hey, this is my speculation, I think there's a high chance we could be wrong, every time we see somebody saying that, and I encourage everybody else to do that, not just be skeptical, but whenever you see somebody else be skeptical, and whenever you see somebody else change their position based on new information, highlight it and congratulate it. Here's an activist form of activism for you, okay? Don't just be skeptical. Celebrate other people's skepticism. Celebrate other people changing their position. That's a very simple form of activism that you could do. Whenever you see it, be like, "Hey, I noticed that you're being skeptical. I just want to take some time to congratulate you on your skepticism and make skepticism cool again." Okay, so that's something I tell people. Suggest you do.
Yeah,
But
I fully agree with that.
yeah.
I think the only people, like in that specific case, the only people who know the truth and the whole truth are would be the victim and the perpetrator, but and everything else, like there will certainly be a legal inquiry and all, but that would be just based on whatever facts can be uncovered.
And it's not a binary thing. It's not like you either know fully or you don't know at all. Like you
Yeah.
could be like, I guess, and now I have a little bit more evidence, so I'm gonna hold this position with a little bit more certainty, but not even close to 50. Not much higher than just a little bit more, and you be like, oh, now we have more evidence. You're never gonna get to 100%. You don't have to ever be at 0%. It's always like but most people think in black and white, so either something is true 100% or it's not true. It's 0% probability. Okay, but you have to like learn how to treat it with like, oh, I wasn't sure at all. Now I'm a little bit more sure, but I'm still willing to let go. Anyways, yeah, go on.
Please go. I just wanted to say that there's this one thing which I wanted to ask you guys for so long, and what you said just confirmed it. That's the Bayesian worldview. That you have some prior knowledge, you collect evidence, then it becomes posterior. The posterior becomes new prior. You collect more evidence, and I really want to live by that worldview. It really resonates with me.
That's good. That's good. All right, and it works. It doesn't just resonate. It actually it produces best results. It gets you more closer to reality than anything.
It's used in a lot of fields.
Yes.
Anyways,
All right.
my second thing, the second thing which I wanted to talk to you guys was that what's happening in France is that like in the 3 or 4 events in the recent 6 or so weeks, like knives were used, and not too long ago vehicles have been used. These are very common everyday objects. Like if like anyone can use them, and they can't really be banned or controlled. Like if there are lone wolves,
Yeah.
they can certainly like not use maybe but misuse them.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
what would be your thoughts on, like, it needs to be an ideological change, I think.
Yes, this
Certainly.
is it's really no. I see your point because a lot of people are like, oh, why France can't is not stopping it? Why is like what happened to anti-terrorism? A lot of people are criticizing the government from not being able to fully stop these attacks. But again, this is when it comes to creating a police force that could stop every single one of this. You're not going to be able to do that unless you become full-on police state. This is why this cannot just be an anti-terrorism strategy. It has to be an ideological battle at the same time. If it's not an ideological battle, it's going to be impossible for any state to fully stop every single one of attack unless they go full on China on your ass, right? Full on authoritarian in your ass, and we don't want that. That's like creating a bigger problem than the one that is solving. So I see a lot of people on the news are like, "Oh, why is the anti-terrorism tactics? Why are they not working? Blah, this and that. France has failed us." So like, no, the solution that you're looking for is not going to be. It's not gonna. This is not gonna end this. Um, you have to come up with a way to just change the people's opinions, and you have to make it long term. And the problem with this other solution is that it's a long term investment, and because it's a long term investment, it's not going to show the results right away, and people are impatient. So even if France does the right thing and wage an ideological battle against these ideas that is growing in France, because the results are not going to be immediate, it's going to be in over a few generations. People are going to think that they're not working, and this is why it's going to be hard for us to promote these methods because people, the next attack that happens, people are going to come out like, look, your methods are not working, and they're going to give up on them, right? So we have to figure out a way not only to promote the best ideas of fighting these ideologies, but also somehow sell it to people that are so very impatient. Susanna, you wanted to say something?
I think your point about the method in which these are undertaken is a very good point about convenience. That's why we saw such a steep increase in vehicular jihad in Europe over the past several years, right? Because it's very easy for someone to get a hold of a car and drive it through a crowd, right? Versus finding other means that I'm not going to say because of YouTube gods that are more complicated, involve more technical expertise, and are more likely to find you on a watch list as you go about trying to prepare the materials that would make a bigger impact, so to speak, right? So people do what is convenient by getting other things that are in their immediate environment, and they may not be able to go cause death to a greater number of people, but their likelihood of the immediacy of achieving it is more ensured, right? I think that's a very good point, and that does drive home the imperative of changing the ideas and the minds behind things like this. But I think it's interesting to bring up, not necessarily to your point specifically, but in general of our conversation, I noticed that we kept talking about French Muslims, French Muslims, French Muslims. The people who committed this attack, like the Chechen who beheaded Samuel Paty, he wasn't French. He was a fairly new arrival to France. Reportedly, from what I have read so far, okay, asterisk, from the beheading that happened today in Nice, that person arrived from Tunisia a few days ago. Right? So this ideological battle has to go much further than France. Right? Because there can always be people who come from outside who want to target France specifically because they refuse to back down on their principles and their values.
Also, I do want to mention that a lot of people might say, like, Armin, you see, you're wrong. Immigration policies are important because these people just came from outside of France, right? And that's why you need stricter immigration values. I do agree. The immigration policies that I suggested would have stopped this, right? Again, what I suggest is not, when you best immigration policies. First of all, it shouldn't be based on religion, but it should be based on values, because a lot of people have religious labels, nominally religious labels, right? A lot of people who are labeled as Muslims or Christians or whatever, they do not actually follow Islamic values and don't have Islamic values, right? So I do think that there needs to be an extremely strict immigration policy, not based on the label of a religion that you pick, but based on adjusting for homophobia, misogyny, agreeing with secular values, enlightenment values, freedom of expression. Those, there needs to be obvious signals that you stand for those values. And obvious signals, like not something that you could just lie about. Like, you have to have a record of standing for these values for you to be allowed in this country, even if you're a Muslim, okay? But you have to have a better proof than just saying that you stand for these values. You need to have a history of standing for these values, right? And also, I think based on skill sets, right? If you have an immigration policy that is based on skill sets, that if you're an engineer, again, none of this is going to be completely bulletproof. It's not like nobody's gonna slip in, but it's gonna extremely reduce the number of problematic people if your immigration policy is based on the number of engineers that you need, or based on the number of nurses that you need, or based on the number of doctors that you need, and you make it very, very strict. None of this requires you betraying your enlightenment values and all of a sudden saying we don't allow Muslims, just being Muslims, right? Or from Muslim countries. That is not the right way of doing it, right? But again, if you think like I'm being too easy on immigration policies, I could tell you that these people that were allowed in wouldn't have been allowed in based on the criteria that I have, right? Like we
It's
do
so
it,
true. And a
yeah.
blanket ban of people from Muslim countries will actually prevent people who share our values from being allowed in countries that will support them in their fight to free where they come from. Right?
Exactly.
I'm talking about ex-Muslim and secular activists specifically. Okay. Okay, wait, I just got really triggered. Like, this is why it needs to be on the basis of shared values. Okay? Because there are a lot of people who I talk to on a weekly and daily basis who would do anything to be in these countries because they are not going to take their freedom for granted. And as soon as their security, their citizenship, their residency is secured in these more free societies, they're going to put it to damn good use. Okay, making sure that other people are aware of exactly the price that they paid for it and the price that people and where they come from pay for it on a daily basis. Okay, those are the people that I fight for the hardest. And I talk to them regularly. And it's difficult to find ways to get people to places where they can continue to raise their voices for their countries and cultures and societies that they come from. It's a long process, and you have to work hard for it. But your freedom is worth it.
We do need to do a super chat. Guys, no more super chats. We're gonna be ending this soon. Hayes, do you have any? Hold on, let me unmute Hayes. Hayes, do you have anything else? We're gonna do a super chat.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to what
Last
Susanna
question.
said.
Okay.
It's not really a question, I'm afraid. I just wanted to add to what Susanna said, that tightening the immigration policy, like banning people outright from certain countries or faiths is certainly not the way. But I agree that tightening the immigration policies and screening people better would help. And
Yes.
I don't want to sound elitist, but in general, in my personal experience, I see that generally the more educated a person is, the less dogmatic they are.
Right.
It's
Yep.
education.
I mean, it's
a
not.
disinfectant for dogma.
Yeah. So again, that's not gonna be 100%. People are gonna find exceptions, but that I agree with you. That's true. So if you do screen for that, it's gonna solve a lot of the problems. And if people find exceptions to that, that doesn't mean that it's not gonna help. Okay, because it's a more a general trend rather than being 100. You're not saying, you're not making a general statement. Okay, people are always going to find like some exceptions to the rule to prove you wrong, but that doesn't prove you wrong. Those are just anecdotes. Anyways, Hayes, thank you so much. You had great questions and great points.
Thank
Really
you.
enjoyed
Thank
having
you
you.
for having me here. It's really an honor.
Oh, it
Oh,
was fun.
thank you. Yeah. All right. Talk to you later. So I'm gonna remove Hayes. Hayes. Okay. So here, guys. No more super chat, and nobody join us anymore. This is the last comment that we're gonna read. Okay, go on.
And there were so many other questions that we didn't even get to today.
We should do more Q&As. What do you
I
think,
know I had
Susanna?
so much fun doing this. We do need to
Yes.
do more.
Yeah. So we were doing once a month. Maybe we do like twice a month, or
every,
even
every 2 weeks. If people let us know in the comments.
once
below.
a week, twice a month, or like Anyways, let's do this last super chat.
Yeah, let us know what you think below. So Ronnie S gave us $10. Thank you, Ronnie. Saying India's the problem is India's left wing supports Sharia 4 and says that Muslim personal laws should not be touched, whereas the Hindu right wing wants to abolish Sharia and have one law for all Indians. I'm gonna be honest. I'm getting a little bit of a BJP flavor in my mouth. I'm getting a little.
So here's the thing. Okay.
Smell.
That would be okay. No, I agree with some of this though. Okay. The problem with the left wing in of them, just like left wing in other countries, to instead of defending Muslims against their rights being violated, to instead of fighting anti-Muslim bigotry, they have gone full on Islam is a-okay kind of crap, right? This is something that for some reason left wing all around the world does at some point. They confuse the people that they're protecting, because the left wing is always. The good thing about the left wing is that they're very obsessed with protecting minorities and protecting people and protecting their rights. The bad thing is that sometimes they get confused and they all of a sudden start endorsing the shitty ideas of the people that they're trying to protect. They go overboard with that. So that's the problem with the left wing everywhere. Okay, and again, the good thing with left wing is protecting people. The bad thing with left wing is protecting the shitty ideas of the people that they're trying to protect. So that part I agree with.
So they turn their backs on the minority within the minority.
Right. The second part would have been good if the one law of all Indians were actually good laws, right? So you know who else? You know, I mean, we say when we say we should have one law for all. You know, it shouldn't be different laws for different people. You shouldn't have tier grades for your citizenship, and these laws applying for these people. These laws applying. We agree that that's a shitty idea, and it should be stopped. And a country should have like a consistent law for all the citizens. But that doesn't mean we do endorse, like, you know, Nazi Germany was doing that the same thing. Okay, they had one law for everybody. Okay, so China. Yeah, I know. So okay, let me finish. I shouldn't have. But China is doing that at the same time, right? China is like enforcing their authoritarian on everywhere in China. Okay, so the fact that Hindutva right wing is coming up with one law for everyone, that doesn't mean we endorse the laws that they are enforcing on everyone, right? So just because we agree that there should be one law for everybody, that doesn't mean we're going to agree with the laws that they're going to pass. Like if you're going to bring Hindu supremacy. Instead of, when we say one law for everyone, we mean laws based on Enlightenment values, right? Not Hindu supremacy. But thank you so much for the $10 super chat. That was a big super chat. I do need to I said last comment, but I do need to. Oh, okay. India is
by Uday, $5. Thank you.
India is very complicated. Indian left is particularly Islamist. Several secular laws, like one law for all citizens, are opposed by left and driven by right. Again, yeah, we do support one law for all, and it's really sad that the Indian left, again, given that how much anti-bigotry and Hindu supremacy needs to be fought against in India, it's really sad. It's really sad that the main people who are going against it are these like left-wing, we need a better pro-enlightenment opposition to the Hindu supremacy in India. Okay, the fact that a lot of Indian left-leaning people are actually endorsing Islam makes it so much easier for the Hindutva to gain dominance, because they're like, look, is that they keep pointing to their people and like, this is the alternative, this is the alternative, and this is what makes the Hindutva scaremongering a lot more efficient, right? Because this is what this is. You don't actually have people that are enforcing, that are on the side of Enlightenment values as an alternative. I do want to read Harshit as well. The one law should be the Special Marriage Act 1954, amended for the president, in my opinion. Okay, do you want to highlight anything before let's go, right? We need to go. I really need to go.
Yeah, we need to eat. I need to pee. I need to go write the news for this Saturday for
yes
show. Lots to cover. We'll be talking about the boycotts going on in Kuwait and Bangladesh. We'll be talking about an activist who was murdered in India. We'll be talking about what else is going on? Poland's abortion ban. Lots of stuff this week.
Right. Oh, we need to also announce on our news segment the release of Sita and Kali. I mean, I know you already didn't know this, but we need to also announce it for people who don't know. Ghost Bunny saying, I love this community. Aw, we love you, Ghost Bunny. And more importantly, Ghost Bunny saying, I simp for Guru Armin. Yes, very good. Thank you very much. See, no, we're going to end this live stream before people simp for Susanna, so that I could come out as the winner in this episode. Hold on, Terrell, see? No.
Subscribe. Don't forget, you have to subscribe. No one makes Enlightenment values look this sexy. Okay. No one does blasphemy better than us. Have you seen blasphemy this sexy? You have to subscribe.
Just subscribe, guys. Subscribe, seriously. Like, I know we're joking, but yeah, this is the channel that defends Enlightenment values. So you better subscribe and follow us on Twitch.
This is consistent. You don't have to pay if it will put you in a financial position that is not good for you. We don't encourage that, but you can like. That's free. You can subscribe. You can hit the notification bell and then do all. Notification bell and then do all.
That's my thing. You stole this from me. Anyways, I'm not gonna do it anymore.
Am I not supposed to join in?
Look at the emote. It's
You're taking my job in this economy.
Bye.